He is one of the most controversial relationships in this year's edition of Mafs. Jake thought he had found the woman of his dreams on the experimental reality TV show, but it hasn't been smooth sailing with his wife, Beck. Take a look.
Clashes we have is just her personality traits. At times I have found her rude, and some of the comments she has made.
What kind of comments?
Well, for example, being told I'm boring. I've got 2,000 personalities. I've been told to man up.
Is this true, Bex?
It wasn't directed at him. I said, let's man up. And with him being in football, you know.
What about the term boring, Beck? Did you use that?
Yes, I did call Jake boring.
Oh, Jake, welcome to the Ange, Rob and Robbo show.
Thanks for having me, guys. Great intro.
Pleasure. Look, I have to say, I am impressed you've lasted this long with Beck. I actually spoke to her last week, and I do understand where she's coming from, but I think I personally would have packed my bags by now. Has it been tough for you?
It certainly has been tough. There's no doubt about it. I think when you go on an experiment like this, obviously you don't get to pick your partner, and that's part of, I guess, the experiment. But I guess I didn't certainly expect to have the relationship off to such a rocky start as it's been with Beck and I. So it certainly has been challenging, yeah.
We just saw the kiss there that wasn't. But the experts told me that a rough start can sometimes lead to a great relationship. And last night, I felt there was a turnaround as Beck faced some real truths. Let's have a look at that moment from last night's episode.
Kiss me.
Well, I'll tell you where I'm at. I've listened to this, I've heard it, and I'm exhausted. There are two people on the couch in front of me. Only one of them right now is warm and empathic. Rebecca, it's not you.
Oh, some hard truths, mate. Did you notice a change in her after that commitment ceremony?
There certainly was a change. I think being confronted like that, the way Beck was straight off the bat, was certainly eye-opening for Beck, and it certainly helped her and I probably find some common ground after that ceremony. So I look forward to seeing everyone, I guess, their response over the next couple of episodes, and I'm sure that the Australian public will give their views as well on how Beck responds to, I guess, the feedback that Johnny had given her on the couch.
Yes, and especially the intimacy week, which is playing out this week. I've got to say, it was tough, and you are thrown together with someone. And it was interesting, my reaction, because, as I said, I spoke to Beck last week, and I saw that there are insecurities coming from her, which I feel like you're copping the brunt of.
Yeah, I think so. And it wasn't until, I guess, Beck and I had a real in-depth conversation around more of those insecurities and her past, and I guess it was able me to kind of relate a bit more of an understanding of where she was coming from. I mean, I was presented with Beck and her personality off the bat, and I was just taken back myself. I didn't know how to handle Beck and who she was, and it was very challenging for me, just emotionally as well, being thrown into that environment where previous relationships that I've been in, and even relationships full stop, I never met a person like Beck, and it was hard. It was certainly very, very hard to be called all those different things, and to know that deep down that I'm not boring and I'm not all those things she was calling me.
Well, that dinner conversation was brutal, to be honest, when you're sitting there and literally told you're boring in front of other people. That's pretty tough.
Yeah, it is tough. And I'm sitting there going, well, hang on a minute, you're a stranger. You don't really know me. We're a week into the experiment. And I'm the type of character that I'm not going to give you everything off the bat. Like, you've got to get to know me a little bit more before I feel trusted in you, before I can open up and be more of myself. So, it was tough. And I'm certainly not a boring character. You can ask any of my friends and family. I'm the last boring, probably the last on the radar when it comes to my lifestyle. Yeah.
Fair enough. Look, I've got to say, your troubles paled into insignificance and were overshadowed by Coco and Sam. Let's have a look at that bit from last night.
I walked into this experiment the happiest and most confident I have ever been. And having someone every day.
Oh, wow.
every day putting you down. Wow. Because you say the most ridiculous, corny one-liners that would make anyone cringe, I'm putting you down. Seriously. Oh my God.
What was it like being in the room while that was happening?
Oh, it was tense. It was tense. There's no doubt about that. Look, it's... To be honest with you, mate, we really had no idea what's going on behind the scenes of other people's relationships. So we're all sitting there hearing this all for the first time ourselves. And,
absolute right.
I guess hearing Sam, how he come across, I think if he had his time again, he'd deliver it in a better way. And obviously, there's a little bit more to it as we're all starting to find out now with Coco and perhaps another groom on the show. So it's setting itself up nicely for what may take place next.
Well, it's pretty obvious, and there have been reports Coco will get together with Cam, and that's quite interesting. And I know you can't speak too much about that, but it's already going down that path. But it is surprising the twists and turns that come out of a show like this, isn't it?
It really is, and as I said earlier, you literally, for me anyway, I was so focused on my relationship. As you can see, we're not getting along at this point in time, so I was just focused on Rebecca and I and trying to make things work with us, that you really do don't listen or take in any other relationships on the outside of that. So I had really no idea what was going on behind the scenes myself.
Well, and it's interesting, you have to live it twice. You live it the first time as you're going through, then you relive it as it's going to where and the rest of Australia's catching up with you. So that's quite mind-blowing as well.
Yeah, it is. It's been a really unusual experience, to be honest. We filmed this end of last year, and you're right, you've got to relive it again, and it brings up a lot of emotions for me, both good and bad. And it's just part of that process of the entire Mafs journey. I had no idea just how big a following it has. The community of Mafs people is just incredible, and the support and love and care has been brilliant from my point of view, and I don't regret going on the show. I had a great time, and I'm grateful for having been matched with Beck, because I think we both taught each other a lot throughout the entire experiment.
Well, Married at First Sight continues tomorrow night at 7:30, and check your local guides for the rest of the week. It goes Sunday to Thursday. Jake, thank you so much for being with us.
No worries at all. Thanks for having me. Cheers.